If your garden has been slow, sleepy, or simply refusing to burst into the lush, thriving haven you know it can be, you're about to discover the one homemade tonic that flips the switch almost overnight. Most gardeners chase expensive fertilizers or trendy hacks, but few realize the real powerhouse is already growing right under their boots. Not rice water, not store-bought boosters. I'm talking about the very weeds you've been yanking out and tossing aside for years. Those so-called invaders are actually the secret ingredient to one of the fastest-acting, most nutrient-dense growth elixirs you can make. And once you ferment them, your plants will respond so dramatically it almost feels unfair. Welcome back to Crop Corner, where today we're diving straight into the green magic hiding in your weed pile. No fluff, no filler, just pure, actionable gardening wisdom. The reason this weed ferment works so shockingly well is simple. Weeds grow with a kind of wild intensity because they're nutrient hoarders. They reach deep into the soil with aggressive root systems, pulling up minerals, enzymes, chlorophyll, and natural plant hormones that many cultivated crops just can't access. When you ferment those weeds, you release all of that stored power into a liquid your plants can absorb instantly. Instead of waiting weeks for compost or depending on rice water, which offers little more than microbe-feeding starch, you're giving your plants a complete nutritional upgrade in a single dose. This is organic fertilizer in its purest form. No chemicals, no cost, and no complicated steps. Just pure biological synergy. Let's break this down the Crop Corner way so you can put it to work immediately. Weeds don't just survive, they dominate. Their leaves store minerals like nitrogen, potassium, calcium, magnesium, and dozens of micronutrients in concentrations that everyday garden plants can only dream of. During fermentation, beneficial microbes break down those tough plant fibers and convert all that stored nutrition into a dark, rich, bioavailable liquid. It becomes a living tonic, filled with pre-digested nutrients, natural plant hormones, and growth-stimulating compounds. While rice water feeds soil microbes with starch, weed ferment, actually feeds the entire plant system. From chlorophyll production to root expansion to disease resistance, everything, honestly, just improves. Think of this elixir as compost tea on steroids. It's fast-acting, deeply nourishing, and, wildly accessible. Which weeds make the best ferment? Luckily, you don't need anything exotic. The most common garden invaders make the strongest brew. Young green weeds such as clover, chickweed, dandelion leaves, purslane, tender thistles, and those leafy wild greens around sidewalks are all perfect. The key is using soft, fresh foliage. You'll want to avoid woody stems. Those just take too long to break down and can dilute the strength of your ferment. Every handful adds minerals and growth-enhancing compounds to the final elixir. And honestly, the more diverse your mix, the richer the nutrient profile becomes. So, how do you make the fermented wheat elixir at home? Well, this is where the real magic happens. Honestly, you don't need any fancy equipment or special ingredients, just weeds, water, and a container. Alright, begin by filling a bucket with as many fresh green weeds as you can gather. And, give them a quick rinse to shake off any excess soil. Then, just chop or tear them into smaller pieces so the microbes can break them down faster. For a standard batch, you'll want to use a 1-gallon container. Just go ahead and pack the chopped weeds inside until the container is about 2/3 full. Now, pour clean water over the weeds until they're fully submerged. For a 1-gallon batch, this will be roughly 3 liters of water. To keep mold from forming, you'll want to place a clean weight or stone on top of the plant material. This forces everything to stay under the waterline, where fermentation, not rot, can actually take place. Next, cover the container loosely. You don't want an airtight seal because fermentation releases gases that need to escape. Within a few days, the mixture will begin bubbling as microbes activate. Give it a good stir every 2 to 3 days. Fermentation usually takes between 2 and 3 weeks, depending on the temperature. Once the bubbling slows down and the liquid darkens with a strong earthy smell, you'll know it's ready. At this stage, you have a concentrated plant elixir far stronger than anything you'll find in stores. How to use the weed ferment without overpowering your plants. This solution is potent, too potent to apply directly. After straining it into a clean container, dilute it properly so your plants receive an energizing boost rather than a nutrient shock. The perfect dilution is 1 cup of fermented weed concentrate per 1 gallon of water. That equals about 250 milliliters of fermented liquid in roughly 3.8 liters of water. Use this once every 1 to 2 weeks during the active growing season. Apply it as a soil drench around the base of your plants. Vegetables, fruit trees, flowers, young seedlings, and even struggling plants respond incredibly well. Because the nutrients have already been broken down by microbes, your plants will absorb them faster than standard fertilizers. Within just a few days, you'll notice deeper green leaves, thicker stems, fuller foliage, and more vigorous overall growth. What to expect after using this fermented weed elixir? The transformation often surprises even experienced gardeners. Plants that seemed weak or slow suddenly gain strength. Leaves become richer and deeper in color due to improved chlorophyll production. As roots thicken, they spread further and start to absorb moisture a lot more effectively. If you're growing fruiting plants, you can expect more blossoms and, honestly, even better yields. If you're tending to leafy greens, just be ready for faster and fuller growth. And if you're dealing with plants that looked like they were on their last breath, you may witness them spring back with renewed vitality. Side-by-side comparisons consistently show taller plants, fuller canopies, and more rapid development when weed ferment is part of the routine. This isn't just a fertilizer, it's a rejuvenation tonic. A new way of thinking about garden waste? Once you start fermenting weeds, you'll look at your whole garden differently. The same method can be applied to other green scraps, yard trimmings, and even invasive species. What you once considered trash becomes a tool for regenerating soil and closing the loop in your home ecosystem. This isn't a trend, it's a sustainable practice that strengthens your garden year after year, reduces dependence on chemicals, and unlocks the hidden potential in materials most gardeners throw away. To our Crop Corner family, if you've been searching for a fertilizer that's fast, free, and unbelievably effective, this fermented weed elixir might just be the biggest breakthrough your garden experiences this year. Try it, experiment with it, and watch your plants come alive in ways you've never seen. And if this guide brought value to your garden journey, make sure you subscribe, share this video with fellow gardeners, and help our Crop Corner community grow. Your next harvest is about to be your best yet.